everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Jen Vanek. I'm Director of Digital Learning and Research at the EdTech Center at World Ed. And you are here today to learn about a very exciting new course that we are launching this very day. So I'll like to introduce my colleague, Ebony Vandross, who will give you a little bit of engagement information about how to participate in this webinar.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. For those of you that are not familiar with Zoom, there are some controls that will help you to become better acclimated. At the bottom, you can find the control panel, and you might need to move your mouse down in order to make it pop up. You can access the chat by clicking on the chat icon on that same control panel. And when you make comments in the chat, please select all panelists and attendees. That way your comments can be seen by everyone and not just the host. If you have a tech support issue and I do not see your comment in the chat, which is possible because there's quite a few of you today, you can use the hand raise feature and that will get my attention. We also ask that you direct all questions for the presenters in the Q&A section so that all your questions can be streamlined there. If you have any other tech support issues and you can't get my attention in the chat or with the hand raise feature, please email me at the email address below. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Ebony. So here is our agenda for the day. We're just so lucky to have Assistant Secretary Scott Stump from Octay here with us today, so we'll hear a few words from him. Then Victoria and I will give you a preview of the course and some associated resources that we've developed. And then you'll get a walkthrough of a module or one of the topic lessons for this course. Along the way, you can chat your questions in the Q&A, and then we'll also have more time for Q&A at the end. I want to thank my colleagues, Victoria Neff and Ebony Vandross from World Education for their help in putting this webinar together. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Scott Stump, who is the Assistant Secretary for Career, Technical, and Adult Education at the U.S. Department of Education. He was confirmed in 2018 and serves as the Principal Advisor to Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos on all matters concerning high school, career, technical, and adult education, as well as community college, the workforce, and economic development. Welcome, Assistant Secretary Stump. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jen, and it is absolutely exciting to see. I think as the numbers are just approaching, we're 399 now. Oh, someone else will join, and we'll be over 400 of us gathered together for a very important day and an important topic. And so good to see everyone from Connecticut to California and Alabama to Alaska, all interested in this important work and this important topic. It's my pleasure to join the presenters from the EdTech Center and at World Education and from our Division of Adult Education and Family Literacy within the Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Education for today's kickoff webinar of a new and exciting set of timely resources focused on transforming distance learning, specifically in adult education. Before I say anything else, I do want to also thank the team here at the Department of Education, Cheryl Keenan, Chris Coro, and especially Travis Combs, who joined us just less than a year ago, November 11th, 2019, so right before our world changed last spring. But Travis stepped in from Kansas, and with his local experiences, all of them have done a phenomenal job pivoting and working together to provide flexibility to state and local adult ed programs and also technical assistance to the adult education field. And I want to thank Jen and Victoria for their work in coordinating all of these activities leading up to today's wonderful announcement and launch of these new resources. And last but not least, early on we had some partner organizations that came to bring their expertise to this work, and that ranged from COABE to AIR, ProLiteracy, Open Door Collective, OTAN, and the Texas Workforce Commission. Thank you to everyone that's had a hand in this work because, again, it always makes it better at the end of the day. For those of you that don't know, our office, the Office of Career Technical and Adult Education, or often called OCTE, exists to deliver the federal resources in both adult education through the AFLA Act, as well as Perkins dollars, and so in the form of career and technical education. And in both of those spaces, we believe we exist to ensure that all Americans have access to be able to acquire the right knowledge and skills at the right time for the right next step in their life. And I'll tell you, last spring, that absolutely, our system was disrupted. And nearly 7 months ago, as the pandemic was emerging, we found ourselves in an unprecedented place where millions of learners, including our adult learners, that still need the services we offer, but we couldn't deliver those services due to our reliance on primarily a face-to-face delivery model. However, very quickly, many of you that are listening in today gave us examples as they emerge of instructors and programs, finding innovative and creative ways to continue impacting learners even in the midst of this pandemic. Thank you to those of you who swiftly moved from face-to-face instruction to Facebook, to Skype, and to Zoom, all in the hope of continuing to meet the needs of your learners. And to support and replicate this revolution that's going on, our office is pleased to have partnered with EdTech Center and World Education to sponsor the Rapid Response Technical Working Group to assemble the expertise to inform and connect these shared efforts and develop the critical and timely transforming distance education courses that we're launching today. You know, even as America starts to recover from the impact of the pandemic, today we know that there's still an estimated 51 million adults from all walks of life that struggle with basic academic skills. Learners who struggle to read, to do math, to solve problems, and use technology are going to be ill-equipped to enter, much less compete in a global economy and a post-pandemic economy. We envision a future where all adults can fulfill their full potential. And this set of courses launched today gives our profession new research-based techniques and tools to virtually meet learners where they are and move them to the next level. This timely, high-quality professional development leverages over a decade of known practitioner expertise and existing research, as well as taking into account the recent innovations implemented since the onset of the pandemic. As you can see, there's much to be excited about and celebrate, even in the midst of these unprecedented times. And to all that have joined us today, I wish you each safety and success as you implement these new resources and continue to impact the learners that we collectively serve. So with that, Jen, I'll turn it back over to you because I'm excited to see the courses in action.
Thank you so much, Assistant Secretary Stump. And before Victoria gets started with the description of our work, I want to just call your attention to Jerry Johnston, our founder of Project Ideal, has joined us for today's call. So a special shout out to Jer for joining us today, and thank you for starting this work so long ago with a grant from OVE that we have been building on ever since. So welcome, Jer, and welcome everybody. Thanks, Victoria. You're up now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria Neff with the EdTech Center at World Education. And for those of you that don't know World Education, we are an international nonprofit that advances economic mobility, learning, and life outcomes through education for communities around the world. And here at the EdTech Center, we are leaders in integrating technology in education and workforce development programs and supporting you all and our partners to accelerate learning and increase the reach and impact of your work and enabling everybody to thrive in this increasingly digital world. And particularly in the US, we have been on the front lines of this work with digital transformations and digital inclusion, helping adult educators, workforce training providers, refugee and immigrant serving organizations, among many others, leverage technology to increase the reach and impact of their work, and advocating on important access and equity issues. I'm going to turn it over to Jen to share more about her work leading these different initiatives in the U.S.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Victoria. Yeah, so we rolled up our sleeves the first week of March when we started hearing about programs shutting down. We created as much opportunity for programs to engage in professional development and get access to resources as we could. That meant putting up a new website, which I might add had over 39,000 downloaded resources from then till now, 80,000 visits. We coordinated 16 distance education strategy sessions where we were able to provide support. And all the while we were building our partnership and our collaboration with many innovative leaders around digital impact through our Digital Us initiative, and continuing our work in support of the IDEAL Consortium, a network of leaders, state-level leaders across the US who are committed to providing equitable access to distance education within their state. So all of this was happening at the same time that we were updating and writing a new distance education handbook. If you want to go to the next slide. I encourage you to check out this new edition, the 7th updated edition of the Distance Education and Blended Learning Handbook, co-authored with Destiny Simpson and our new hire at the EdTech Center, Jeff Gumes. This builds on the first 4 editions that were published by Dr. Jerry Johnson and Leslie Petty, and integrates many of the resources and innovations that we observed happening as the pandemic was forcing us all to think differently about our work. I just want to make a quick note that instead of publishing a PDF on our website, we decided to build this textbook or this guidebook in a wonderful new resource called EdTech Books. It is an open textbook, an open access textbook site where you'll find our flexible format handbook. But then while you're there, you should also peruse some of the many other handbooks and textbooks that are available to you, many of which focus on technology-supported education. So great, we're trying to learn about innovation any way we can, and where we do find innovations that are relevant, we try to bring them to you. So just another example of that. Okay, so at this point, I just want to say that we're going to be giving you an overview of our big 3 deliverables to Octave. So in June, we found out that we might have an opportunity to do some work in support of your work. And we pitched a few ideas to Octave, and this is what we all decided was the best course of action. So in a bit, I'm going to be telling you about a technical working group where I convened a series of researchers to come together to understand some shared findings, our actual course, which we'll be spending most of our time talking about today, and then a listserv that we decided was necessary in order to keep continuing the discussion. So let's talk about the technical working group first. So as you might know, the EdTech Center collaborated with AIR to create a survey to understand what instructors and programs were doing in order to be able to serve their learners in the early days of the pandemic. We sent the survey out, had about 1,000 people try to respond. 800 people completed the survey. And we're really impressed with the results that we got with that. At the same time, I found out about other parallel efforts happening. COABE had a survey, ProLiteracy had their own survey. David Rosen coordinated a survey through his organization, Newsom Associates, a direct-to-learner survey. Texas and OTAN are examples of 2 states that California, OTAN and California are 2 states that did their own large-scale surveys. And then the Open Door Collective, the EBASE, the Evidence-Based Adult Education project of the Open Door Collective, led a qualitative survey of nearly 45 interviews with people at all levels, from state level leadership to classroom instructors. So it really became clear to me that we needed to understand what was happening across all of these surveys, because they were all undertaken so quickly, and often needing to sort of rush through some of the early preparations that has to happen for qualitative studies or surveys to be viewed as empirical. I decided that it would be a really good idea for us to all come and share our findings to try to generalize across the research, to see if we could triangulate ideas and findings from one study and others, and just to get a better sense of what was going on. At the same time, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation engaged world education for a landscape analysis of adult education as part of their strategy refresh on supporting economic mobility initiatives. And the report that you can find linked at edtech.worlded.org/TWG is the public facing part of that work. So the TWIG was convened. We met for a couple of days together. We reviewed our data, went back to our findings between and after the meetings. And what we came up with is a 6-page summary of findings, which you'll find linked at that site. Some of the high-level findings are listed here. Now, these are high-level observations that were most salient to us as shared across all of these studies. And the one in the middle that you see here, the one highlighted in purple, it just is to show you that this work was happening as we were writing our content for the course, which I'm about to describe, showing how we were able to make sure that the stuff we were talking about as recent innovation had been observed in multiple sites. So there are actually two great ways to read about this research. One is the TWIG report that I talked about earlier. The other one is this publication called COVID-19 Rapid Response Report from the Field. That was co-authored by eBay's volunteer researchers, including me, but led by Elisa Belzer, and published by Pro Literacy. I'm sure somebody will get a chat to that link in a second. But so these are two reports where you can learn about concrete steps that programs were taking in the early days of the pandemic, and which informed the content of the course. Okay, so now we get to the course, and we are so pleased to be able to tell you that this course is launching today. We have been working very hard to get this ready for you in a way that is flexible, transportable, accessible, and highly relevant. We decided to package this course into 4 professional learning modules, authored in a software called Articulate Storyline. And the modules cover the sequence of implementation steps or components that you might be familiar with if you've been reading ideal literature over the last several years, actually ever since Jerry authored the first handbook. So we start with thinking and reflective thinking about what it takes to examine the capacity of your organization and making sure you understand exactly what you're getting into when you decide you're about to embrace a distance or blended learning program. Then we move, that's module 1, then we move into effective practice around outreach, recruitment, screening, and orientation, and creating comprehensive outreach and orientation that really support your distance learners from the very start, from your very first touch with them. Then the third module is around delivering effective distance and blended learning instruction, and then followed by module 4, where we discuss assessment. So at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Victoria, who is going to give you a preview of the website that we created, and also a glimpse into one of the topic modules created for this website.
Great, thank you so much, Jen. We're going to chat this link, and this will be, you will all be seeing this site for the first time live on our website. You can, there's just a few things I want to point out on how to get there. You can access the site in 2 places, the Transforming Distance Education under Professional Learning Resources, as well as under Technical Assistance and Services. The course is there as well, and if you click on that, you'll be brought to this main page where all of the modules and the topics that Jen briefly talked about are hosted. So before I go into one of the topics to preview, I just want to point out a few things on this website, on this main page. So you'll notice at the top there are a few links: resources and support, FAQ, frequently asked questions, and badges. Each of these provides helpful information should you have any questions or have any trouble accessing the content within the course. So we encourage you, if you do have any questions, to look through the FAQ page and see if any of your questions can be answered there. The other thing that I want to point out on the resources and support site page is that we have these other resources that Jen mentioned linked here, and we also provide some guidance around how to share content and an email for anyone that needs support in accessing or wanting to get access to the source files. So that is all on these top pages, and there's information about badging as well, which I'll talk about shortly. So going back to this main page, as you can see, each module is laid out with 3 to 5 topics each, and each topic takes approximately around 15 minutes to complete. And you can preview the content that is in each topic, as well as the badge that you will earn once you complete that topic on this main page. To launch the topic, just click on the topic that you're interested in, and you will be brought to another page where the topic content is hosted. So a few things I want to point out. Again, on the top, you'll notice that all of those support links are there. And you'll also notice that once you complete this topic, you can move to the next topic in the sequence by just clicking on this text below. So you'll be brought to topic 2 in module 1, for example. You'll also notice here that there is a side navigation to kind of orient you to what is in this topic. And you can, at any time hide this by clicking on the 3 bars right here. This is especially helpful if you're on a mobile device or a tablet and you want to really optimize the space for viewing the actual media within the course. So you can hide that at any time. I did want to show you Module 3, Topic 4 in particular, because it has some great resources that are embedded. And so I want to make sure that you know how to access those resources. So as I mentioned, you can see kind of the pathway for completing the course on this left navigation. Just click Start to start the topic. And there is a slide in each topic that goes through how to navigate the course. And again, that tech support email is there if you have any questions or something isn't working quite the right way for you. There's also this small book icon, which when you click on within each lesson within the topic will showcase all of the connected resources and any research that may have been referenced in that lesson. So click Next. The next thing that I want to point out is that within each topic there is the opportunity. We've embedded the opportunity for you to reflect and take notes, and created a notes document for you to take with you as you complete this course. So you can access that by clicking the download button here, and that will automatically download this Word document in a zip file. So you'll need to open it, and when you open it, you'll see that it is the notes and reflection document for the entire course. And so we've included some questions, things for you to think about as you're completing the course. So once you download this once, you do not need to download it again for each topic. It's the same notes document for the entire course. So moving on to another lesson within this topic, you can see that each topic, going back to this page, will be introduced at this topic slide, as well as kind of what the learning objectives are. It would be a short introduction. And again, you can navigate by clicking the next or the previous button at the bottom right-hand corner. There'll be little reminders throughout to take down any information, to reflect, to use that notes document that we created for you. So again, here you can see the Learn More book icon. Clicking on that will give you access to these different resources and tools that are embedded in this text, but you won't be able to easily copy. Some things are linked easily for you here, but all of the resources are clearly linked out here. And if I want to show you how some other resources are embedded, so clicking more within this lesson on using a digital home base, you can explore the different content sharing tools that are used to host content, to curate content, and how to different tools that can be used in strategies for organizing the content for learners. So this is just one example of a lesson within a topic, and you'll see that this particular lesson has more information about different resources or tools that you can use, as well as some examples. And examples vary within each topic. Some of them are media clips, some of them are actual Word documents or links to documents that you can add to your drive or download and use right away. So we've embedded resources in this way. So you can see how these two digital home base examples are embedded. And again, once you're done with that particular exercise or that lesson within this topic, you can move to the next one. This next one, I just want to show again how within each exercise, within each lesson, there are different interactives that we've built to explore the different resources and media that are connected to a specific topic. So this one looks like a folder. There's a read, watch, and then example option within here. So we encourage you to just go through at your own pace. There's so many great resources in here. It was such a pleasure just working on this course and learning from you all and the awesome work that you're doing. So it was just great to be able to spotlight that here. And the other two things that I want to point out within each topic, you have once you finish all of the exercises, you'll be prompted to complete a wrap-up, a knowledge check. And what I want to show you here, hopefully, I might have to just do it really quickly so I can show you what it will look like to claim your badge. So as I said, go ahead, Jen. Oh,
Victoria, while you're loading that up, I want to just pause to answer a couple questions that have come in the Q&A. Our estimate is that I'm thinking 20 minutes a topic. So that thing that Victoria linked to, like from the World Ed site, is about 20 minutes. So within Module 1, I believe there are 3 topics. So that's about an hour for Module 1. The modules that have 4 topics, 5 topics, they'll last a little bit longer. I also want to reiterate that we see this as an open-ended learning opportunity, in that we have provided access to more resources than we know that everyone will take the time to explore. So it is quite possible that if someone carefully spends time with every single resource that we've included, it will take them much longer than 20 minutes. But understanding that people have different levels of expertise and might need more support or might have a deeper interest in any of these particular topics, we constructed it in this way. So I think that covers the question topics in the Q&A. And then Adam asks for whom this is available. And Adam, it's available for anyone with the link. We'll get into sharing options a little bit after Victoria shows this next badging scenario.
Great, thanks, Jen. So once you complete that knowledge check in the wrap-up section and you score 100%, you'll be prompted to claim your badge. You can also review the quiz, but I want to show you how to claim your badge. So I'm going to click claim my badge. And what will happen is a form will pop up here. You'll need to complete this form in order to receive your badge for that topic. What I want to point out here is please use an email address, name, and please make sure that this is without any typos, and you're using an email address that you use frequently and you're able to log in and check emails, because you'll need to authenticate and set up your account on Credly to manage your badges, your digital badges. And the next thing I want to point out is that it's really important to use this format for the date, today's date. If you do not use this format, we may run into just like a technical issue issuing your badge. So please do use this format here. Then you'll click submit. And then what will happen is you'll get an email right away that has given you your digital badge, and you'll need to claim your badge. And you'll need to set up your account on Credly. They have a claim account, which is managed by Credly, and you'll be able to keep track of all of your badges here. You can share your badges through this platform on your social media, with your professional networks. You can share out your account link. So we've also included more information on what you can do with your badges and how to accept your badge on the badging information, the badges page here. So if you have any questions, come here first. There are some really awesome videos that the Credly team put together showing details on how to accept your badge and manage your badges moving forward. So I think that is it. The last,
I just want to pause again for a few more questions before we move on, Victoria.
Yep.
So let's see, there are a couple questions about multilingual resources. So we did not intentionally create a situation where we were providing multilingual resources. I will say that there is one embedded resource that is created by a CBO in California that happens to be in Spanish and English, and we provided an example of a recruitment flyer that's in Spanish and English. So I hope that answers the question about the multilingual resources. Multilingual resource use and home language scaffolding for second language learning is a deep interest of mine, and so if you are interested in exploring how we can start curating more multilingual resources, I'm on board, and I would love to talk with you more about that later. So you can please email me. Another question, are these closed captioned? So all of the YouTube videos that are embedded are closed captioned through YouTube automatically. And we went through and edited those captions to make sure we took out the distracting ums and the misspellings. So yes, the videos are captioned. There's one video that comes from Coursera, and it was not in YouTube, so we created, there's a text transcript that you can link on right next to the video. I want to say one more word about accessibility. When you click through this, you will notice maybe that there's a lot of text, and I want you to know that that's the case because our guiding star in this, our North Star in this was ADA compliance. And we didn't want to complicate that accessibility with a lot of flashy interactives. So there's a trade-off. We chose to use Articulate Storyline because of the affordances that make it more possible for accessibility tools to work. There's another software called Articulate Rise, which lets you make kind of more flash interactives, but those accessibility affordances don't necessarily work with that. So we intentionally chose the path that we did in order to make it accessible as possible. Now, there's another question here about us providing CEUs. Now, so this is a really interesting question, because another guiding principle in this design that has a lot to do with this accessibility is that we wanted to make the use of this tool as flexible as possible, so that programs could take it and throw it in their own learning management system, or get the packaged files from us and customize them even if they wanted to. So I'm not sure that we can issue CEUs, because we don't have this in a learning management system. That is, we would have no way of knowing when somebody completes a course. However, if somebody goes through and claims a badge, they will have a record of the completion of all the topics. And if you as a program, or you as a state PD leader, decides you want to issue your own CEUs for this course, you could just ask your program participants or teachers to give you evidence that they had earned these badges. And you know, I've said each topic is about 20 minutes long, so you could do your own hour calculations from that. So Ebony, or Victoria, why don't you keep going, and I'll just keep reading the questions as they come in.
Okay, great. I think I just have one other item that I want to point out. We would love your feedback. I think it's on the FAQ page here. We would love your feedback on the course, and we have a form here. And so the question, can I provide feedback on the course? Yes, we'd love to hear from you, and we welcome your suggestions for resources or improvement. Please use this form. It's a Google form, and you can use this form to share you know, any feedback you have. If there was an issue that you encountered, you know, something that didn't load properly, whatever it was, please do share. We want to continue to build on this and iterate and improve it. So we look forward to receiving your feedback. I think that is it. Again, like, you could spend some more time looking at the FAQ. If you had any other questions, we were very thorough with what we included on this page. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Jen.
Great, thanks. Okay, there are a few more questions. I will just answer really quickly. I think they'll actually be reflected in what I plan to talk about on this slide. This is a free course. It is a self-paced course. We have a recommended order in which we think you should complete it. You'll note the linear top to bottom and the numbering system on the homepage of the course. However, we haven't locked up access to any of the topics or any of the modules based on any kind of prerequisite. So free to use in the order in which you want to use it, but we do have a recommended pace. And yes, it is self-paced. So let me just say a little bit about what we have here on the next few slides, and then I'll come back to the questions to make sure I've covered everything. So as Victoria mentioned, we do have a situation where we created a very flexible format for this. And we did that because we understand that different states and different programs have different constraints and different resources. And we didn't want to create one scenario for use of this tool. We wanted to be as flexible as possible so programs, teachers, state level PD leaders could do whatever they wanted to with it. So we created this with a Creative Commons license. You can use it and you can customize it, but we ask that you do not we put a non-commercial license on it. So that means you just couldn't take this and put it on your website and then put it behind a firewall that required somebody to pay for it. However, if you decide you could take this, you could take the files and you could contextualize them within your learning management system and offer a facilitated professional development experience through them. Okay, so there are many different ways to use this. And let me just reiterate, you could just give the teacher the link to the EdTech Center site. You could take these modules and embed them in your learning management system, or you could ask us for the Articulate storyline files and we would package them up and send them to you, and you could put them, you know, customize and then put them on your learning management system after they have been customized. So I think that answers the questions. It is true that you cannot customize these unless you actually do have the software Articulate Storyline. You need the license, but I would also suggest that you need someone with the skills to use the software. There is a decent learning curve. Articulate is a course authoring tool. It's not a learning management system at all. So you would need to, it'd be like taking a PowerPoint, editing the PowerPoint and putting it in your Google Classroom. They're sort of two separate things. So you would need both the skills and the license to Articulate Storyline. Okay, did I get all the questions? Did you all notice? Any other questions about the course? I guess I'll say one other thing. We went with Credly as a robust badging system for a number of reasons. One was using a really robust badging system that sticks with the course. And yes, Penny, I saw your question. The Credly is embedded within this because when you pass a quiz, you have that form pops up and you fill it out and then you initiate the badging process through Credly. One of the reasons we did that is we intentionally decided not to put this on a learning management system and require unique user IDs for access. For all those reasons I mentioned, just in the past few minutes, we wanted it to be flexible and open. But we did still want to have some way of understanding engagement. So obviously we can look at that data analytics from our website, but we are also going to be able to monitor activity in Credly. So when somebody fills out that form, we're going to be able to see what completion was like and who was offered a badge and who decided they didn't want it. So we'll have some data around that too. If you use a tool, a learning management system tool, obviously most of those have badging built into them as well. So you could choose to just, if you took our files or the link and just put them in your own learning management system, you could actually just use your badging through your learning management system. Okay, let me just see if any other questions have come in. Actually, Todd Evans asked if we use Storyline 360 or Storyline 3. If Mina Johan from Dash Labs happens to be on this call, I would love it if you'd chat the answer to that. I don't know the answer, Todd, but I can find out. Let's see. So yes, Linda, there is a feedback form. Victoria can maybe, it's in the resources, the text resources page, I believe. Victoria can show you where that is. And Jeffrey, you ask which LMS this works best in. Any LMS, you can embed a link. To my knowledge, I don't know about embedding live files into learning management systems. I don't know much about that. I'm guessing if it's possible, it would require some custom coding within your learning management system. So unless you have the skills to do that, I would recommend going with the links, taking the links. There is no registration for the course. This is free, open, available to you. And you can just access it by going to the link. Someone asked again how long the course takes. Just maybe add up the topic. How many topics are there times 20 minutes? That's our guess. We will be doing more user studies with this, reaching out to organizations we know are making use of this, so that we'll be able to get some more refined knowledge on what engagement is like, how much time people are spending with the external resources, and we'll be able to maybe add that as an answer to a question in our FAQ. Okay, any last questions about the course before I talk about the last element of this project? I think I have hit them all. Ebony, is there anything in the chat that I didn't notice?
It looks like you got everything.
Okay, excellent, thanks. So we are well aware that we have built a course that is based on the fact that we have a really wonderful network started through Ideal Consortium, extended through Digital Us, and through all of the other work that we've done. As you might know, the EdTech Center was the team, the X Prize Adult Communities Competition team that had the most downloads and conversions and use of those free apps. And we built a community of practice around that work too. So it's because we have all these connections that we've been able to become aware, we have this continual awareness about innovation that's happening around the country. And that's why we were able to make the course that we made. We think we need to continue this conversation, and we think we need to extend it. We are well aware that much of our work in the past has been in support of the federally funded Title II programs, and it is much needed. We are very happy with that engagement. We also think that that engagement can be enhanced by extending the collaboration to employer partners, to funder partners, to other community-based organizations that don't maybe receive Title II funds. So we're looking to build a very big tent so we can understand how these innovations that we're suggesting would work in those arenas, and what we can learn from them in order to then bring back to our Title II world and help push innovation there too. So this big tent, a first step in this big tent is this listserv. We're calling it the Equity in Digital Learning Listserv. It is hosted by the Digital Us Coalition so that we can share information in this big tent and make sure that everybody is keeping up with what's learned in any of these other sort of things that have been silos before. So we hope that you will follow the link here, sign up for the listserv, and contribute the resources that you have found helpful within your organization, and then follow along to see what others are sharing back with you. Okay, any more questions about the listserv? Okay, so this is the end of our webinar. We do have time for more questions. If you'd like to chat some more, I will continue to respond. But I do want to point out that it wasn't just Victoria and me who put this course together. We collaborated with teachers, tutors, program managers, state level staff from across the US. And in a sense, we are amplifying your efforts. And so we're grateful that you're part of our network and we're sharing those ideas with us. As always, our work rests on the work of past cohorts of the Ideal Consortium, formerly Project Ideal, and the very early leadership of Dr. Jerry Johnston in the field of adult ed in US adult basic education. So we're grateful for that past work too. And we're also grateful, of course, for the financial support from Octave that made this idea possible. And to Dash Labs and Mina Johan, the instructional designer that kept up with our very demanding content development and design pace. I think we really pulled off a lot in a very short time. So yes, we built it, but so many people informed this development, and we thank every single person on this call that had a hand in this. Okay, any more questions coming through? Victoria, anything else you'd like to add?
No, just to reiterate that it has been so much fun working with you all on the content and learning about the great work that you're doing and being able to share it with the field here.
So you may send those questions to us anytime you like. When you leave the call, if something occurs to you, do reach out. Remember, you have the technology resource, tech support email on our website. And we look forward to hearing you. Thanks again to everyone who had a hand in this project. And we look forward to launching it, watching it grow, learning from it, tweaking it, and helping others make good use of it. So thanks for spending an hour with us this afternoon. And everyone, take care. Good luck.
Thanks, everyone.